So we have a couple of guests today. Brian De La Torre with two R's. I'm going to correct that. Whom I met at a meetup, Joe Applebaum meetup. Everybody knows Joe Applebaum, at least if you are in the New York area. Actually, people well outside of the New York area know Joe. And we have also Jason Van Orden. Jason, have we met? You're certainly welcome. But
no, I don't think we met. Yeah, I don't think we met, Michael, but I'm trying to remember. Somebody told me about this, and I was just searching my LinkedIn because there are a couple new networking things I went to. I'll try to remember who it was that told me about this. But
all right.
Yeah, in the last week, someone said, hey, you got to check these out. So, yeah.
Great. Wonderful. I will, I'll tell you about it. Rajiv, welcome. So for the benefit of our two guests, and I think, Brian, is this your first time?
Yes.
It is. This is the Trusted Referral Network. We're a network of independent marketing services professionals. Most of us, have businesses with 20 or fewer people. I would say the average is like a couple of people. But Stacy, you've got a team of what now?
12.
12. Okay, so that's pretty big. And let's see, anybody else? Rajiv, how many people do you have?
Like it varies, but about 12 to 15.
Okay, so yeah, it varies. But then there's a lot of solos. I'm a solo. I think Ken Simon's a solo. So it's really getting the purpose of the group is to help refer business, collaborate, find people that you can collaborate with and refer business to. Because as a small provider of marketing services, we all, we can only do so much ourselves or within our own agencies. So, and oftentimes, as you know, our clients need things beyond that. But it's not a general purpose business networking group because there's value in working and connecting with people who know what marketing is all about. And when you say, SEM or SEO, they at least have an inkling of what that means. So I was just asked if there's an issue with the Trust Ref website. I don't know. I haven't seen it. But thank you for bringing that to my attention. I'll take a look. So we do this weekly. We alternate between Tuesday evenings at 5. This is Eastern time. And Wednesday mornings at 11. So next week it'll be Wednesday morning at 11 Eastern again. So this is a critical part of it. Of course, we have the website, which is a directory website. We have a Slack channel, a few other things, and always looking for ways to add value. Right now, we do not have any dues. It's a rolling 6-month trial, which I will eventually replace with dues that won't be too big a burden, but I think it makes people who are committed more committed, and those who are not committed, they don't pay. And that'll be about $360 a year. So when we have a showcase, and this is giving anybody here an opportunity who might want to do a showcase, we do about 15 minutes, dedicate 15 minutes to that showcase so that somebody can do a deep dive into what they do. And if we don't, or just after the showcase, we go around and introduce ourselves, tell everybody what you do, what your focus on, how you can help people out. It was Rajiv. Yes, that would make sense. Rajiv is a great connector. Thank you. So Rajiv brought Jason Van Orden in. So we'll just take 2 or 3 minutes. We finish at the top of the hour. I can time it, which I will do. I'll time it at 3 minutes since no showcase, right? Anybody want to do going once, going twice, going 3 times? No showcase. Okay, cool. So I'm going to drop in the chat the order in which people showed up. Hold on, let me throw my chat in here. And we'll use that as the order in which people can do their intros. So we'll start with Mark, Iorio, then Faith, then Henning, then Brian, and I'll keep this on. If everybody could go on mute, except of course the speaker, then that captures the video better. I am recording this. Welcome, Jason Cement. I'm adding you. You will be the last one after Rajiv, and then I will go. So we'll do 3 minutes, and I will switch to speaker mode now. So Mark, take it away.
Okay, thanks, Michael. I'm going to start with my television shows first. I have 3 television shows. Rajiv's going to be on Rainmakers Roundup tomorrow morning. It's a streaming network called RVN Television. I've been doing it for about almost 6 years. It's a beautiful studio down in South Jersey, New Jersey. And I get about roughly 40,000 views on Rainmakers Roundup per month. I do it every week. It's about 30 minutes, and there's 73 shows on the network. So if any of you are interested, Rainmakers is really about people that are in a unique, are doing something unique in a competitive business. I've got 2 other shows too, one's called The Advocates, which is people helping people. And the third one, I can't mention the name because I'm going to offend someone. So it starts with an F. Maybe you can imagine what it's about. It's businesses that have failed. So F ups. My business is a brand and culture alignment organization, and we help companies get their teams all on the same page with a psychological tool that my business partner, Al Cini, and I developed about 10 years ago. It's based on the archetype of the personality archetype that Carl Jung developed back in the 1930s for individuals, but this is for teams. So we get teams to organize around an incorporating question. And the question is, I want you to imagine or visualize your entire organization as though it were a single person doing its best work on its best day. Our exercises are about 80 questions, 80 exercises inside the survey instrument, and they're all word associations. So you know words matter. And what happens is your frontal cortex actually lights up when you start to recognize certain words and phrases that describe your organization. And the process goes on from there. We plot the results. We get everyone in a room that has taken the survey. We get to the point where everyone agrees on the North Star for the organization. We then develop a list of commandments or aligned inspirations for how the organization is supposed to behave in accordance with where they landed on the chart. And then we go around to each individual and we ask them what are the 2 or 3 things they can do each day to behave or align to that North Star. There's a lot of marketing in there as well. It spits out a brand positioning statement. And so the behavior, culture aligns with the brand promise. So, Michael, would you like to demonstrate your instrument? Show an example. I can't within the 3 minutes.
Yeah. No, I mean, some other time I meant to put
some other time. Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think it would be really interesting to see how that, have a visual of what it looks like.
Yeah.
The output, and you could sort of explain it. And I think that would be very helpful to people.
It is. It's very
I don't know if you've done a showcase, doesn't matter. Would love to have you do one.
I have done one, but I'll do it again. I love doing it. So
good.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah, show and tell is great. Okay, Faith, Tomases. You're on mute, Faith.
Okay, can you hear me now? I'm Faith Tomases. Hello to those of you I've met before. I am, in 1 word, a writer. In 5 words, I'm a messenger and a translator, meaning I help organizations or people or whatever identify what they really want to say or communicate or be, and then help them translate that into words very succinctly. So the end product is, my specialty is name development, but I also do copywriting, business to business, consumer, websites, brochures, anything that needs to be written. I work as a solopreneur, but also as a subcontractor to other agencies, advertising agencies, design agencies, marketing consulting firms, all of the above. I'm very flexible in the way that I work. I have a broad range of experience in a lot of industries. So I've done consumer packaged goods, financial services, kids stuff, old people stuff, insurance. So I can get to the point quickly. That's really my essence. I'm based in New York, and I have a little terrace outside of my apartment, and you see my beautiful view in the background. This is what I look out on, but nature's given me a few growths from the wall. So it's my little garden. And I'm just looking to meet anybody that needs help articulating what they want to say, or identifying what they want to say, or writing what they want to say. So.
Wonderful, thank you. And I love the background. It's hard for us to imagine. It looks like you're on a fire escape or something, because you're right in the middle of like the buildings.
In my building, they stopped part of it outside my window. And luckily they tiled it. So it's sort of a roof, but it's sort of a terrace.
Oh, I see.
It's more than a fire escape. I've got a table and chairs out here.
Nice.
You see a beautiful view.
That's the equivalent of 5 acres in the suburbs. So that's great.
Indeed. And actually, to get to it, I have to climb out the window.
Love it.
And rent stabilized Upper West Side apartment, you can imagine.
You're never going to give it up.
Well, when I moved in, I asked for a swinging door because my neighbor had a swinging window door, and they wanted $1,000. And I said, thank you. I'll continue to climb through the window. So here we are.
That's great. You got to tell that story. You got to keep telling that story. Faith, who climbs through her window to get outside. Okay, Henning, you're up.
Thank you, Michael. Always try to find a new angle when we're here together with TRN. So instead of talking about myself, let me tell you about a client of mine and his story. He is a professor at Stanford and works on fabrication and construction. His name is Rene Morkos. He also founded a company called Alice Technologies, which is a first generative construction simulator that automatically generates millions of options to how to build a construction project. And like most founders, Rene personally won the first couple of clients for his business. And after his Series A, he hired 2 salespeople and soon reached about $1 million in ARR. But then his sales plateaued, and he felt that his team was stuck, was too young and inexperienced, and the company was lacking the skill set to further grow. He and I met in April of last year because I had reached out to him on LinkedIn, and he noticed in my profile a focus on bringing the right sales leadership into a growing, a scaling business. And he felt that we might be able to help him. We met, we scoped an assignment for a fractional VP of sales. And in that scope, we said that the ideal executive would have to bring experience in C-suite selling, sales coaching, identification of decision makers, and enterprise SaaS sales experience to the table. And within a few days, I was able to introduce 2 very well-fitting executives, and Rene and his team went about and interviewed them. He was concerned that his 2 salespeople might be resistant to the change, and which would have impacted the executive's ability to be successful. And so he included them in the interview team. And in unison, they decided on one of the 2 executives who was able to start right away. Today, 15 months later, Alice is doubling revenue every 12 months. They've secured Series B funding. They've hired a full-time VP of sales. And Matt, our fractional executive, is still with them as Renee continues to see tremendous value in his experience. And this client example shows what we are doing and what I'm doing. I'm a matchmaker between businesses who lack the right sales leadership and the right skill set, and a group of pre-vetted executives that are available for those assignments.
That's great. Love the story. And I see your paintings in the back are growing. You're adding more and more over time. Those are paintings, your own? Because they look similar.
Not my own, but they are paintings, and they're indicative of the fact that we have finally moved into our new house, and I have a real office instead of an office that doubles as wine cellar, guest bedroom, storage, and everything else.
Congratulations. When did you move in?
3 weeks ago.
Wonderful. All right. Brian Torre, and correct my pronunciation if I got it wrong.
That's close enough. That's good. I think you're supposed to roll the R's, but I'll let that slide.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
I'm Brian Torre. I'm a creative director. I help small agencies and some businesses with in-house teams with campaign development, branding and identity, and presentations as well. So those are kind of the three areas that I focus on. I'm a solopreneur. Like, I guess I'm below the average. If 2 is the average, I'm 1. Sometimes I'm half. But I've been doing it for a while now. Kind of spent half my career working at agencies and the other half of my career basically doing my own thing. So, what's probably significant about me right now is I'm actually new to New York. I just moved here a year ago from Kansas City, and my home in Kansas City, Faith. I had a porch, a deck, sliding. I had lots of stuff, lots of room. I had a back door. Traded all that. Live in Brooklyn now. We brought our whole family over because we've always loved New York. I actually proposed to my wife in Central Park, so it's always been a special place for us. And life's too short, so we just decided let's just run with it. So, of course, I would love to get some business here in New York, but I'm doing really, really well. I'm having my best year ever. I have clients kind of from all over, so making a move to New York was super easy for me. But I think what I'm most interested in is just getting to know other people in the field and learning from them and growing. That's one of the downsides, I think, to being a solopreneur, is that you're by yourself. And I feel like I've always done the best work when I work with teams or when I collaborate. So really, I think this group seems like this organization seems like a really good thing to tap into for sure. But yeah, I see a question here. I mean, we're in Park Slope. That was just like the neighborhood that we were familiar with, and it's great. It's an awesome place. And yeah, I'm on LinkedIn. I'll link it, or I'll paste in my info here. But yeah, that's my story. But yeah, thanks for Michael. Thank you so much for inviting me and making me feel welcome here.
Absolutely. I'm glad.
City.
Yeah. Welcome to New York. Of course, people here are from all over. I'm just outside of New York City. But a bunch of people are in the Northeast because that's where I started. And now you can meet with Jason, who's just a few neighborhoods over.
Yeah.
And there may even be some other Brooklynites. I have my daughter's in Brooklyn, but she's not in marketing. And by the way, it sounded interesting that you do work. It sounds like you do work with other agencies to supplement their staff. Is that correct?
Yeah. A lot of times I end up working with agencies that specialize in the strategy side of things, but don't have much of a creative department. So I kind of step in as their creative director and play that role for them. So there's a couple small agencies, one in Kansas City that I do that for. And I grew up in Kansas, but I live mostly on the Missouri side. So someone asked a question about the Kansas or Missouri, so I had to clear that up.
Yeah, I guess that's a big thing.
Brian, I do have to throw in that my wife and I, we moved last September, from Kansas City to the other coast here in California now. So,
oh, wow.
We also gave up half an acre of land and a front porch and a big back porch and a 2-car garage for a much smaller and much more expensive place to live.
Yeah, it's definitely.
But now he's near the Pacific Ocean, so there's a benefit to that. David Libby.
Good try.
And everybody should put, by the way, drop your LinkedIn URL in the chat so that at the end of the meeting, everybody can download it. Of course, if you need to connect with somebody and you can't remember who it is, you could always just reach out to me or go on the site if you remember their company's name. Of course, if they're a guest, they're not going to be on the site yet. So reach out to me or get their LinkedIn. So David Libby, you're up.
All right, hey everybody, I'm David Libby with twopins.com. We're currently going through a rebrand. So the website today is me and only me. Hopefully in a week or two, it'll be me and my business partner. And I've been doing public relations for almost 30 years now, and I specialize in B2B technology, public relations. My business partner focuses on marketing strategy and content. So together, we're like an interim CMO when we come into these startups. But most of the time, we're working with mid-sized companies because they're high growth. The startups can be frustrating and very scrappy because they don't have much news. So, they want to be in Forbes and, they're going to pay $1,800 so they can write for Forbes, right, once a month, or they want to be in these online publications where they can write. And that doesn't speak to growth. And I prefer to work with companies that speak to growth because, they've got the chutzpah, if you know Yiddish, and they have like big news. They've got partnerships. They're raising rounds of money. They've got customers who are talking about their customers. Customers are talking about themselves. The other customers are talking about other case studies, and so all that leads to attention. Excuse me, and eventually these folks, the IPO, they get acquired. It's a fun story to be a part of. It is really a lot of fun. It feels like being on a racetrack. Especially when there's so much activity going on from so many departments. And so, we're out here in I would say sunny California, but it's hotter than hell California right now. When I say I'm in San Francisco, for those of you that are in New York, I'm actually not in the city of San Francisco. I'm east of it. So east of it is Oakland, California, which most of you know, I lived there for 10 years. East of Oakland, we call that the outer East Bay. I call it the outer rim for you Star Wars fans. And there are 12 more cities out there, and the temperatures can be up to 105 in the summer and down to 35 in the winter. And so, we get it up and we get it down. We actually live in a basin, which used to be underwater in the prehistoric days. And if you go up into the mountainside and dig down, you can find prehistoric shells, which is still pretty cool. But I prefer to be out here. I grew up in the LA area, in the valley, where it was really, really hot anyway, so we're used to it. So any other Californians out here want to sweat, go for a walk, let me know. Thanks.
All right. Absolutely. And I define chutzpah in the chat for those of you who need some Yiddish instruction.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. Stacy Mathis. Are you there, Stacy?
She's on mute.
Yeah, you're on mute, Stacy.
Hi, Stacy Mathis. I own a website called Legal Copywriting Central, and we're based in New York City, or wherever you are, because it's virtual or remote or internet or whatever you want to call it. Wherever my laptop is, that's where my office is. So the other day, not long ago, I was at a client's office and I was going through their mail because we were working on something. And in the mail was a solicitation from a financial client of mine. It's like, oh. So I looked at it and I opened it and I recognized the copy. I'm like, wow, I did this for them years ago and they're using the same copy. The graphics had changed, but the copy was still the same. So, you know, I looked at, and I've done this before. This isn't the first time this has happened. You know, I've gone to websites that I've created for clients and I've seen other marketing material that they have online. The graphics will be different. The development of the website will be different. Their clients will be different and everything has changed. The copy is the same. So that's sort of like, you know, it's like a validation, so to speak. You know, it just speaks to the power of copy. When you write great copy and it works, people don't change it. They'll change everything else and they won't change that. So I'm saying all of this to say that, you know, not to be crass or anything, somebody talked about offending people. This shit works. Stacy of Legal Copywriting Central. Thank you.
Thank you. And I don't know how often you use, what was it?
The
seven words that you cannot use according to George Carlin on broadcast television.
Oh.
We're not on broadcast.
That's true. How do you know? Let's see. We are not on broadcast, but yes, you try to be politically correct when you can. Okay, especially if some people might have their speakers on and their kids around. Ken Simon.
Hello there, Ken Simon. Can you hear me?
We can hear you fine.
Okay, I wasn't sure. Anyway, I'm Ken Simon. I do marketing consulting. I work with small and mid-sized companies, helping them understand who their customers are, what their needs are, and then help them develop strategies for them to use to market their products and services and help them grow their business. I usually work with B2B companies in the financial services space, technology space, but recently I've been working with a bunch of B2C companies as well. I could work with anywhere from developing demand generation strategies, email strategies. I usually help them review their websites. I find out a lot of times when they're doing their marketing, their websites are woefully not up to par, and not supporting their marketing efforts. So I try to do like a marketing audit for them whenever I start working with a client. For example, I'm working with one new client now, which is an area that I never thought I'd be working in. They developed a box which is about 9 inches in size. Using artificial intelligence, it could determine what type of bird is in your backyard based on its sound by chirping or song or whatever. You plug it into an outlet in your backyard, you connect it to your Wi-Fi, and then they will send an alert to your smartphone that will tell you about the bird. It'll give you a little recording about the bird, and then it also connects back to Cornell School of Ornithology. I think I'm pronouncing it right, where you can learn all about the bird or birds, whatever. I found out, that in my backyard, I have over 30 species of birds visiting me on a daily basis. Who knew? But anyway, so I'm helping them, and this company decided, and they don't even, this wasn't even their main product. This was an offshoot of what they do. So they were like, this was sort of like some guys that said, I'm into birding and I want to see it. They do underwater acoustics, and this was sort of like an offshoot, but using artificial intelligence, they can figure this all out. Anyway, so I'm helping them create awareness for them in the marketplace and helping them sell their product through online stores. If you want to find out more about the birding thing, let me know. I could always tell you. I'm kind of fascinated by this because I never thought I'd be interested in this, but who knew birding industry is like a $45 billion industry. But anyway, I'm Ken Simon. I help some companies grow.
It's so cool. I wonder if you might get some good press if you sold one of these to like the botanical gardens in Brooklyn, or where it would get a lot of
I'm trying to get
exposure.
They have I was able to get them, get somebody from the Audubon Society to, hopefully one of their writers, to write about the box. It's called Haiku Box, you know, but so we'll wait. But there, he's testing it now, so we're hoping that. And then we have someone from Wired magazine who may write a review about it too. But we wanted them to test it, and it's kind of neat. So it's, but then you never know, like what, you know, how long it takes for something to get into print. But it's kind of cool. This is like something I never even thought about. You know.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, interesting. And there are not too many birds under the water, so I wonder how they got them.
Yeah, that's well, they do. You know, they live. That's their main. You know, they do a lot of the stuff they sell to the scientific community. So this was something interesting.
Interesting. Very cool. Well, thank you. And that's, you always have something neat to tell us about one of your clients. It's always cool stuff. From Australian rocket launching to bird.
Right there, the Australian rocket. Yeah, burning craft. But anyway.
Okay, let's see. Moving on. Jason Van Orden.
Yeah, so hi, I'm Jason Van Orden. I live in Brooklyn, New York, so I'm also outdoors, but I have a small backyard and don't have to climb out a window like I used to, but I appreciate what you're doing there, Faith, because getting outdoors is so key in New York. Love working out here. Anyway, I work with coaches and consultants, and I help them make the shift from one-to-one business model where they're primarily focused on their one-to-one services to a one-to-many business model. So creating online courses, group programs, upgrading and optimizing their messaging to be more at scale, as well as their marketing strategy more at scale, so they can attract and serve more of their ideal clients. Or sometimes it's because they want to reach a new audience, or they've been attracting people that can't afford their one-on-one services, so they want to serve them in some way. So those are some of the reasons, or they just feel maxed out or burned out on doing one-on-one. So I help them make that shift over to a one-to-many business model. And other than that, I love living in Brooklyn, hanging out with my 10-year-old daughter, watching videos about physics and riding my bike. So there's a few details about me.
Very cool. So you said you help with the marketing. What do you do specifically? And perhaps some other people in this group might be able to support that effort.
Yeah, sure. So I help with designing the offer itself. So often, you know, they have what they're doing one-on-one, and they want to shift that into a curriculum that they could deliver either through digital courses or as a group program. So I help them make that shift in the curriculum. We do a lot of market research to really nail down their messaging. I help them if they need to get their email list going, because that's going to be key for reaching people en masse as well. And then I help with the customer journey, because you know, a lot of times in their one-to-one, they're depending on referrals, and that might be great, right? They get clients from their network and they're doing good work and they're keeping a full roster. But when they want to start filling one-to-many programs, we got to get more leads. We got to build their list. So, you know, I help with nailing down the messaging for that, the list building strategy, the lead generation strategy, so that over the next few to several months, they've got a wider, broader marketing and value delivery strategy in place for their business. So that includes designing the offer as well as the messaging and strategy and promotional campaigns to sell those offers at a more one-to-many type scale.
Very cool. Yeah, I don't know if it makes sense, but there are some people that do lead gen in the group that do the mechanics of it, right? Setting up the email, the LinkedIn, the automation around that. If that's of interest to support what you do, you may do that. I don't know, but there are some experts in the group that do that.
Yeah, that's great. I'm always looking for vendors to match up with, because you know there are limits to what I specialize in. So you know, I do a bit of that lead gen, and then if they want to go deeper on something, that's where I'm putting them over to another freelancer to work with them to put that into place.
Okay, cool. Thank you, and certainly welcome, and thank you for coming. And we should definitely do a one-on-one. I'd love to learn more about what you do. And since Rajiv brought you in, and Rajiv is next on the list, go for it, Rajiv.
Thank you, Michael. So what I do is reputation management. So reputation management, think of it as yin and yang. The yin part of reputation management is thought leadership. where we are elevating the client's profile on specific platforms online, so that rather than them chasing opportunity all the time, opportunity can chase them, just to change the paradigm a little bit. And then on the flip side of that, the yang part of it is reputation repair, which is deleting the bad. So we're deleting bad press, we're deleting bad reviews from Google and social. Lately, recently I was at the NFT conference in New York City, and I learned that everyone there is on Twitter for whatever reason. And there was like a lot of interest in like deleting tweets potentially, if certain tweets are like very disparaging towards either a certain blockchain or certain crypto or something like that. So that's something that we're doing also, deleting tweets as well as deleting content on either Instagram or TikTok or other places, especially if that content is disparaging the client or is showing the client in a way that is either not PC or could be perceived as being racist or something like that. So that's something that we're doing broadly. And as far as, just to give you like a small example of the work that we've done, so our clients typically are either influencers or thought leaders online that have unfortunately said something or done something that is now coming to haunt them. And then this is like literally killing their deal with Disney or Netflix or Hulu or whatever the case is. So some of our work is then deleting that link that was coming from Daily Beast or New York Times or whatever the case is, so that the deal, with Disney goes through, because there's a lot of inflammatory language used in that link, which portrays them as not something that the brand would typically associate with. So we kind of get rid of that. And then on the other side of it, there was also a case where somebody was in the job market and her doppelganger appeared in her Google search. So it wasn't that there was a story that alleged her or accused her of financial fraud. It's just that this doppelganger has a criminal background. The company mistook the doppelganger for her and then retracted their high six-figure job offer. So then she reached out to us to get that deleted, which we did a lot faster than I thought we would. We did it in 2 weeks. Usually our typical time frame is 90 days. And then because we deleted it so fast, she was then able to get the executive recruiter to work with the company and reverse their decision. So she was ultimately hired. So I guess there's like a happy ending there. So my ask for the group is introduction to other marketing people, since a lot of our business comes from other marketing agencies who either white label us or refer us business for a revenue share. So I'd love to have conversations with anyone that either I haven't spoken to recently or is new.
Very cool. And thank you for bringing Jason to the table or to the group. And do you work at all with social media influencer agencies or outreach agencies? Because I imagine
that would be a good connection or a good introduction for me.
Okay. Yeah, I imagine some of the social media people the influencers mess up, and that hurts them.
Yeah.
Ruins
them even.
Yeah. But there are ways, there are databases of influencers that you can access. I don't know if you can market to them, but I'm not sure how that would work. But you could speak to Karen Koslow, Koslow. I will, Karen, Koslow. She's a member of the group, but not a very active member.
Koslow.
Koslow, yeah, Karen.
Oh.
You can look her up on LinkedIn.
Gotcha.
Okay, Jason Cement.
All right, I'm going to test a new write-up. So, give me 1 second. Okay, do your clients play the waiting game to grow their businesses? Many of us are networking organizations like TRN because we believe we need referrals to get more clients. So we build a website, we go to networking meetings, we talk to a lot of people, and then we wait and wait and wait for the referrals. Since we can't predict the referrals, we go to more meetings. It's a vicious cycle. Can't imagine how many professionals I meet who have convinced themselves that the best source of clients is referrals, but they don't realize it's often a self-fulfilling prophecy. They live off referrals because that's where they go fishing. And investing this way can definitely work. There's no question that building relationships like we're doing here with the right people can produce awesome referrals. But as we all know, it's not scalable. And it only works when you're awake, going to meetings and doing lunches and making phone calls and Zoom meetings. The core problem with networking is that it requires your time. You can't leverage someone else's time. You got to wake up for 7 a.m. meetings, real live lunches or dinner meetings. And if your billing rate is 300, 400, or 500 an hour, the real cost of networking really starts adding up and becomes quite costly. The bottom line is you can only make networking work by spending time actually doing the networking. So there's two things you need to know. First is if getting referrals is all you're banking on to keep your lights on, especially in tough times, then putting all your eggs in one basket means you could be missing out on another revenue channel that can produce even more than you get from referrals. And the second thing, which many of us know, is that you can generate leads while you're sleeping and while you're doing your day job. So that's when people call me. They call in my agency because they figured out they don't want to play the waiting game. They want to make money while they're sleeping. They want to leverage my team that costs a lot less than their billing rate to do things that will get their phones to ring. So that's what we do. And we do it with digital marketing. We get our clients in front of prospects and referral channels by getting their websites and social media channels to be simply more visible. So we do 4 things. We create faster, better looking, yet highly affordable websites. We're not trying to be a Rolls Royce. I'm very happy with a Toyota Avalon, does the job. My SEO team figures out which keyword phrases should be ranked and then does the heavy lifting to get their web pages ranked high on Google and Bing. I have an engagement team. We look at social media, we look at the landscape and figure out, is there a reason to invest in Facebook and Instagram? Does it make sense to grow a following on these channels? Or maybe it's better to run an ad campaign and interrupt people, show up on their social media feeds. The last thing we do is hacking LinkedIn. So LinkedIn has 2 sides. One is when you do an update and you post something, only 7% of the people actually see what you post, unless it becomes viral. So there's a technique to get your post to become more viral, and then you can get to 10% and 20%, friends of friends. So we know how to do that. And then the other thing is doing a lot of outreach on LinkedIn. It's probably the most affordable networking thing you can do digitally to get you in front of people. I had a client we started 4 weeks ago, a lawyer. He just wanted to meet other lawyers and wealth managers. And after a month, he's like, you have to stop. I have too many phone calls and too many lunch meetings and people are already bringing him business. That sort of record setting, it doesn't work that fast, but that's what we do. Our agency is called Get Visible. And the other side of my world is something that Michael knows about is we have our own e-commerce platform plus it's e-commerce. It's events management, it's CMS, everything embedded. It's called Adricom. So if you have a client that's looking for something more sophisticated than an out-of-the-box Shopify situation, we should talk. So that's what I do. So I'm really curious, how clear was that?
That was good. I liked it. Yeah, everybody else is on mute, I think.
All right.
But
it's the first time I've given that before. I'm curious if it was good.
Yeah, I mean, certainly networking does require you to be there. And
yeah, it was good.
Well, I like the waiting game. I thought it's sort of poetic.
The waiting game, yeah.
Right?
Wasn't there a book or a movie or something called The Waiting Game?
There's something like that. It triggered in my head a couple of weeks ago. I'm like, oh man, I think that's good. Like it catches people, and everyone's like, I don't want to be waiting for leads. I want them to come show up.
Exactly. And as you can see off of Jason's right shoulder is the book that he wrote, I Need More Clients. So
yeah, if anybody wants a copy, just email me. I'll send you a PDF. You don't have to buy it on Amazon where I can earn 32 cents.
You can earn 32 cents.
Maybe 33 cents.
So I will go. I didn't miss anybody, did I? All right, good. So my name is Michael Bendit. My timer on, sorry. My business is software development and resources, and people often wonder, so you do software, what are you doing in the marketing world? But as many of you know, as most of you know who are in the digital world, you can't, you don't really have a presence online unless you've got a website. And so that's one of the things we do. I have teams that build websites. I have teams that build e-commerce sites. I have teams that build mobile applications. And my job is really helping them find the right clients. And I do a lot of that through networking. I'm I'm knowledgeable enough about computer science and what software can do and what's complicated versus what's simple. I have actually a degree in computer science. I've never really used it other than I've been in the tech world for my entire life, but always on the business side. So I've been doing sales, marketing, consulting, all on the business side. And that helps me sort of talk business talk, right? I help people work through what they're trying to achieve. And my approach to working with clients is to build trust. And one of the ways I do that is to help them make decisions that won't break the bank to see if it makes sense to move to the next stage, right? I'm not going to try to sell them a Maserati when they want to just get from point A to point B, and then maybe over time they want to speed that up, but start with a car that will get you from point A to point B. Case in point, I have a prospect that wants to build a very sophisticated tool, a lot like 23andMe, which you may be familiar with, which takes your DNA and analyzes it and tells you about your history and your proclivity for this and that and the other thing. And he's a psychiatrist who runs a hospital. He specializes in the relationship between your brain structure and your behavior. And so he uses brain scans to actually help people. And by interpreting what those brain scans mean, relative to the norm, right? If your amygdala is big, or if this portion of your brain is big or small, that gives you a certain, it tells you something about the person. So there's a lot of complexities. There's databases that have, thousands and thousands and thousands of brain scans that we'd have to tap into. Long story short, we're going to test to see if we can actually access those databases in an efficient way before we start building this very complex system. So it's a proof of concept. We think it's the best way to start because it addresses the biggest risk first, right? If you can't get over that hurdle of being able to tap into these databases, you're not going to be able to build the system. So that's the type of work we do. I try to help my clients tackle the things that need to be tackled first with the least amount of money. That builds trust. Once we get past that, then we go on to the next step. And we could take it to a full product. Do a lot of work with marketing agencies, love to meet marketing agencies. We provide extra resources for digital agencies that may even have people on staff that do programming, but often they run out of bandwidth or they don't have the right skills. So in addition to working directly with clients like the one I described, great intros for me are digital agencies. Small, medium sized, mostly small agencies, even single person, creative people who need to have a website built for their clients. So we have 5 minutes to go. I'm going to switch back to gallery mode. I can see I didn't miss everybody, and it looks like everybody is still here. So thank you for keeping everybody engaged. And any questions, comments? Anybody, you can unmute yourselves and we can open the floor up. Stacy, what's up?
Yes, Brian, what is it that you do? Like, what is your profession?
I'm a creative director, so I'm primarily focused on the design side and the art direction side, but occasionally I'll do some writing. I'm honestly, I'm a bit of a jack of all trades. I even do some editing as well. But yeah, that's kind of the big picture of what I do.
So how does that differ from a graphic designer, or is it sort of you do the strategy and the design itself?
Right. I mean, what I typically will do is think through like the campaign ideas, the big ideas, and flesh it out in something what I call like is an ad set. So it's like a billboard. Even if the client isn't doing a billboard, it's just some kind of headline visual treatment that sums up the idea. And that's usually a starting point. So that's kind of the big picture ideas. And then from there, we can take it to whatever it needs to be. And more often than not, I am kind of doing a lot of the work. So if the client needs a bunch of content for social media, I'll crank a lot of that work out based on that concept. But then other times I'll just lay the foundation for in-house teams or other agencies to take it and run with it from there.
I'd love to see some of your work. Actually, put your website in there.
It's in the chat. I will say it needs updated. It's a lot of work that's like 5-6 years old, but if anybody's at all interested, I can. I have some presentations and PDFs I can send with more up-to-date work.
Very cool. Yeah,
I'm doing a new fun business development thing I'd like to share, Michael.
Sure. In 3 minutes or at another time?
Hopefully in less than 60 seconds.
Go for it.
So I've got folks in my network, like you guys and gals, who say to themselves, I know I have this target, I want to target agencies. So they reach out to me and they say, David, I see that your LinkedIn network is closed. Do you mind just going to the search bar and going to the filter section and scrolling down in the keyword section, just drop in the word agency or agencies and see what pops up, and just copy and paste those links, forward them to me. And David, I'll let you know if I want any introductions. That is a no-brainer for me, for any one of you. If you have the time and the interest and you are targeting the same marketing folks, I've got 500 plus marketing folks in my network. I can't introduce you to 500 people, but I can certainly cull it down through that search, and I can then just simply make introductions for you that easily. And I'm using this website thing called where is it? It's called onetab.com. It's a Chrome extension, and I can just drop a bunch of LinkedIn profiles into there and send one link to you, and you can see like 10 LinkedIn profiles at the same time. And then you can say, hey, Dave, out of these 10 LinkedIn profiles, I want to connect with these 3, and I'll make connections. So feel free to do that. And I encourage anyone else to do the same thing. If you don't know how to do that, drop me a line, get on my calendar. I'll teach you how to do a real quick search on LinkedIn and use your network to make connections.
Can I take you up on that and record it so then I could promote it to the group?
Good idea.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me just put a nicer shirt on.
And then Rajiv will make a puppet out of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Would love to do that.
Website again, onetab.com.
One tab, I guess.
David, what was the name of the website?
One tab. Yeah, hold on. I'm going to put it in the chat.
That's the tool that enables you to put a bunch of LinkedIn.
It's a Chrome extension.
Yeah, it's not just LinkedIn, it's multiple links.
Yeah.
One tab.
Yeah, but exactly. But I'll just use it for LinkedIn. Because if somebody wants to see 20 different LinkedIn links, right? You don't want to send them 20 different links. I just send them one tab that has a whole list of all the LinkedIn folks that I researched on their behalf.
Neat. No, that's cool. So it basically creates one tab of links that you want to send people. So
yeah. And you say, hey, there's 2 out of the 10 that I'd love to meet. David, can you make an introduction? I'll do it on the same day.
That's so cool. And anybody else? So I'll reach out to you because you may not have noticed, but I'm doing a cool marketing technology section of my newsletter now, and this sounds like something that might be useful.
Oh yeah, that'd be great.
So now would be a good time, it's top of the hour. If you click on the 3 dots on the chat at the bottom and hit the first thing is save chat, that'll save it to your Zoom folder, I believe, which will show up under documents. And that's a great way to connect people who've dropped their LinkedIn or other information, contact information in the chat. Jason, we should definitely connect one-on-one. Brian, if you're interested in becoming a member, let me know. Cool. Thank you so much, everyone. Enjoy your evening. And I will see you hopefully in next week or the upcoming weeks.
That's good, Michael.
And Mark, Tuesday should work, but it's got to be in the morning. I'll ping you.
Perfect. Thanks.
Take care.
You too.